You know what the problem is with humans? They do not understand the concept of moderation, not even a little bit. Not even when their own biology screams at them to stop. Let me explain. My name is Vea Dulcor, and I have been an instructor at the Galactic Defense Academy for approximately 14 cycles now. I have trained warriors from over 60 species. I have seen Krellian berserkers who could bench press a hover tank. I have watched Thulian speedsters run faster than sound itself. I have even supervised a Gorlaxian who could literally eat metal and spit out weapons. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for Marcus Cole. The day he arrived at the academy, I thought someone was playing a joke on me. Humans had only recently been admitted into the Galactic Coalition, and frankly, most of us instructors were skeptical. These hairless primates from Earth were soft, fragile. They needed specific atmospheric conditions just to breathe properly. Their bones broke easily. They died if they did not consume water every few rotations. Pathetic, really. Marcus walked into my training hall on orientation day looking like every other human I had seen in the propaganda videos. Average height for his species, maybe 1.8 meters tall. Lean build, dark hair cut short. Brown eyes that seemed entirely too alert for someone who should have been terrified. He wore the standard academy jumpsuit, which hung on him like a tarp on a stick. I remember thinking, this creature will not survive the first week. Oh, how wrong I was. Attention. I barked at the assembled recruits. There were 40 of them that cycle. Mostly Krellians, a few Thulians, 2 Gorlaxians, one very confused-looking Pixarian, and Marcus. I am Instructor Veyron Dulcor. For the next 8 cycles, you belong to me. Your comfort does not matter. Your feelings do not matter. The only thing that matters is whether you can function as soldiers in the Galactic Defense Fleet. Do you understand? Yes, Instructor. The room thundered back. Well, most of the room. The Pixarian made a sound like a squeaking toy, and Marcus simply nodded once. I did not like that nod. It was too calm, too confident. We begin with basic physical assessment. I announced, you will complete the following circuit. 50 standard push-ups, 100-meter sprint, 50 squats, rope climb to the ceiling and back. Then we see who belongs here and who should return home to their comfort pods. The Krellians grinned. Physical challenges were their specialty. The Thulians looked bored, as usual. The Gorlaxians cracked their knuckles, which sounded like rocks grinding together. Marcus stretched his neck, first left, then right. Pop, pop, begin. I roared. What happened next would haunt me for the rest of my natural life. The Krellians dropped and started pumping out push-ups with their forearms, making the exercise almost laughably easy. The Thulians blurred through theirs with supernatural speed. The Gorlaxians, bless their dense bones, struggled but persisted. Marcus got into position. Standard human form, hands shoulder-width apart, back straight. And then he started 1, 2, 3, 4. His form was perfect, too perfect. Like he had done this 10,000 times before. 10, 20, 30. He was not even breathing hard. 40, 45, 50. He stood up, wiped his hands on his jumpsuit, and jogged to the sprint track. I blinked. That was, well, adequate. Human. Surprisingly adequate. The sprint proved more interesting. Humans were not fast by galactic standards. A Thulian could cover 100 meters in under 4 seconds. Marcus crossed the line in 12.3 seconds, respectable for his species, but nothing special. Then came the squats. Here is where things got weird. While everyone else grunted and strained through their 50 squats, Marcus dropped low, very low. His thighs went parallel to the ground. He paused at the bottom of each rep, then exploded upward. 50 perfect squats in 90 seconds. The rope climb should have been impossible for him. Humans had decent grip strength, sure, but they lacked the raw power of other species. The rope extended 15 meters to the ceiling of the training hall. Most recruits used a combination of arms and legs to inch their way up. Marcus grabbed the rope, jumped, and started pulling himself up using only his arms, hand over hand. No legs, just arms. What is he doing? Prexis, one of my Thulian recruits, muttered. Being stupid, Gorthak. Akrelian replied. He will tire in seconds. Marcus reached the top in 40 seconds, touched the ceiling, descended in controlled movements, dropped the last 2 meters and landed in a crouch. He was not even breathing that hard. Adequate, I announced to the group. Most of you have completed the basic assessment. You are dismissed for midday rations. Return in 2 standard hours. The recruits shuffled out, chattering among themselves. Marcus walked past me, and I caught his arm. Human, I said, you performed acceptably. But do not let it make you arrogant. The real training begins tomorrow. He looked at me with those 2 calm eyes. Thank you, instructor. I look forward to it. Then he left. I should have known something was wrong right then. That bizarre politeness, that total lack of fear. But I was too busy analyzing the other recruits, planning the next day's torture, doing what instructors do. I did not see Marcus return to the training hall 30 minutes later. My assistant instructor, Tilmara, saw him though. She found me in my office, all 3 of her eyes wide with confusion. Instructor Dulcor, she said in her chittering Pixarian voice. The human is back in the training hall. So? I did not look up from my datapad. Perhaps he forgot something. No, instructor. He is, exercising. That got my attention. Exercising? We dismissed them for rations and rest. I know, instructor. But he is doing push-ups. Any push-ups. Curious now, I followed Tilmara back to the training hall. Sure enough, there was Marcus. On the floor. Pumping out push-ups like his life depended on it. I watched him count under his breath. 78, 79, 80. Human, I barked. What are you doing? He did not stop. 91, 92. Training instructor. You were dismissed for rest and nutrition. 97, 98. I rested for 20 minutes, instructor. Ate a protein bar. 99, 100. He stood up, not even winded. Looked at me expectantly. You just completed 100 additional push-ups after being dismissed? I could not keep the disbelief from my voice. Yes, instructor. Building work capacity. May I continue? Continue? Continue what? My training session, instructor. I planned 200 more push-ups, 300 squats, and another rope climb. Then a 5-kilometer run. Tilmara made that squeaking noise again. I stared at this human. This absolutely insane human. You are aware that you need to recover, yes? That muscle tissue requires rest to repair and grow stronger? I will rest tonight, instructor. 8 full hours. Then I will be ready for tomorrow's session. Human, I am ordering you to return to your quarters. Eat proper nutrition. Rest. That is a direct command. Yes, instructor. He nodded once. Started walking toward the exit. I thought that was the end of it. I returned to my office, reviewed tomorrow's training plan, ate my own meal, began preparing my equipment. 2 hours later, Tilmara burst into my office again. He is back, she squeaked. Who is back? The human. Marcus. He is in the training hall again. I felt something in my central nervous system twitch, an emotion I had not experienced in many cycles. Genuine confusion. I marched back to the training hall. There he was. Marcus, hanging from the pull-up bar, cranking out repetitions. 43, 44, 45. Human. My voice echoed through the hall. Did I not order you to rest? He dropped from the bar. Yes, instructor. I rested for 90 minutes. consumed 800 calories of nutritionally balanced food, hydrated with 2 liters of water. I feel completely recovered. That is not how biology works. With respect, instructor, it is how human biology works. We have exceptional recovery capacity, especially with proper nutrition and hydration protocols. I wanted to argue. I wanted to scream. But technically, he had followed my orders. He had rested. He had eaten. I had not specified how long he needed to rest. "How many pull-ups are you planning?" I asked, rubbing my forehead ridge. "I just finished set 3 of 5. 20 reps each set. Then I am moving to squats." It is late evening. Most recruits are sleeping. I know, instructor. That is when the gym is least crowded, more efficient. Tilmara looked at me with all 3 eyes. I looked at her. We shared a moment of complete bewilderment. "Fine," I said. "Complete your workout. But if you are too fatigued tomorrow to perform adequately, you will face consequences." "Understood?" "Understood, instructor. I will not be too fatigued. I promise." He was not too fatigued. The next morning, when I ran the recruits through an absolutely brutal combat drill, Marcus performed flawlessly. While others stumbled and gasped and begged for water breaks, he maintained perfect form, perfect focus. And when I finally mercifully called for a rest period, he did lunges. Just started doing lunges around the perimeter of the training hall. "Is he broken?" Gorthak asked, watching Marcus with 2 of his 4 eyes. "Like, mentally broken?" "I think he might be," Prexus agreed. "No sane creature acts like this." But Marcus was not broken. He was simply human. And I was beginning to understand that humans operated on completely different principles than every other species in the galaxy. Day 3 of training, I decided to test his limits. I designed a session specifically to destroy him, to force him to quit, to make him understand that there were boundaries he could not cross. Today, I announced to the assembled recruits, we practice endurance. You will run the perimeter track until I tell you to stop. The perimeter is exactly 10 kilometers. Keep pace or face punishment. Begin. The recruits groaned but started jogging. The track circled the entire academy complex. 10 kilometers of varied terrain, hills, obstacles. Most species could run it in about 30 minutes at a comfortable pace. I planned to make them run it 3 times. After the first loop, everyone was breathing hard. After the second, the Pixarian dropped out, wheezing. 2 Krellians were limping. After the third, I called for a stop. "Adequate," I shouted. "You are dismissed for recovery. I expect you back in 4 hours." Everyone staggered toward the barracks. Except Marcus. He kept running, human. "I said you are dismissed." "Heard you, instructor." He called back, not breaking stride. "Just want to finish the set." "What set?" "You completed 3 loops." "I know. I am going for 5. "Why would you do that?" "Your personal goal, instructor." He ran 2 more loops, then walked back to barracks. 40 minutes later, I saw him in the weight training facility, doing something he called deadlifts. "This is not normal," I told Tilmara that evening. "This level of exercise is pathological." "Perhaps it is a human mating ritual," she suggested. "Some species display physical prowess to attract mates. There are no human females at this academy. Maybe he is optimistic." I did not have an answer for that. The pattern continued. Every single day. I would assign training. Marcus would complete it perfectly. Then he would return during rest periods and do more. Always more. Push-ups, pull-ups, squats, sprints, sprints. He ran when others slept. He lifted when others ate. He did core exercises during lectures, thinking I could not see him tensing his abdominal muscles rhythmically. The other recruits started calling him Ghost because he was always in the gym, no matter what hour you showed up. But here is the thing. The truly terrifying thing. He kept getting stronger. Not gradually, not slowly, rapidly, visibly. Within 2 weeks, his performance scores had increased by 30%. His muscle mass had increased noticeably. His already impressive endurance had become borderline superhuman. By week 4, he was outperforming Krellians on strength tests. By week 6, he was keeping pace with Thulians on speed drills. The other instructors started asking me questions. Veyron, what are you feeding that human? Nothing special. Standard rations. What supplements is he taking? None that I know of. Is he genetically modified? The records say no. Then how? I did not have an answer. So I did what any good instructor would do. I spied on him. Late one night, cycle 7, week 2, I followed Marcus to the training hall. Hid in the equipment storage area, watched him work. He started with push-ups. 100 standard. Then 100 with his feet elevated on a bench. Then 100 with one arm. Yes, one arm? 50 per side. Then he moved to pull-ups, 5 sets of 20. Then pistol squats, which are apparently squats performed on one leg, 50 per leg. Then he grabbed the heavy bag and started striking it. Punches. Elbows, knees, kicks. For 40 straight minutes. Then, only then, did he stop. Drenched in sweat, breathing hard finally, he sat on the floor, stretched, drank water, and smiled. Actually smiled. I know you are watching, Instructor Dulcor, he said without looking at me. I stepped out from the storage area. How? Saw your reflection in the window. Also, you breathe louder than you think. Why? I asked. Why do you do this to yourself? He stood up, grabbed his towel. Do what? This constant punishment. You were ordered to rest. I have given you direct commands to recover. Yet you always return here. Why? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, because I can. That is not an answer. Sure it is. I can do more, so I do more. My body is capable of this workload. My mind enjoys the challenge. When you told me to rest, I rested enough. Then I came back because I could, because I wanted to. Because sitting in my quarters doing nothing felt wrong. But you are destroying yourself. No, Instructor. I am building myself. There is a difference. Humans adapt. It is our thing. You stress us, we adapt. You challenge us, we overcome. You tell us we cannot do something. He grinned. We do it twice, just to prove a point. That is insane. Maybe. But it is also effective. I am stronger now than I was 2 months ago. Faster, more resilient. And I am not done, not even close. I stared at this creature. This bizarre, stubborn, absolutely ridiculous creature. What is your goal here, Marcus? What are you trying to prove? He slung the towel over his shoulder. I am not trying to prove anything, Instructor. I am just trying to be better today than I was yesterday. That is all. Every single day, a little bit better. A few more reps. A little more weight. A bit more distance. Incremental improvement, compounded over time. That is the human way. And if you break, then I will heal and try again. But I will not break. Humans do not break easily, Instructor. We bend, we adapt, we survive. It is kind of our whole deal. He walked past me toward the showers. Paused at the door. Thank you for caring enough to follow me, though. It means you actually want me to succeed. I appreciate that. Then he was gone. I stood in that training hall for approximately 20 minutes. Processing, thinking, trying to understand. And slowly, very slowly, I began to realize something. We had been wrong about humans. Completely, utterly wrong. They were not weak. They were not fragile. They were something else entirely. Something we had never encountered before. They were persistent. Relentlessly, frustratingly, impossibly persistent. And that, I was beginning to understand, might be the most dangerous trait in the entire galaxy. The next morning, I made a decision. If Marcus wanted to train like a maniac, I would help him train like a maniac, but properly, safely, with actual programming instead of random chaos. Human. I called him aside after the morning drill. I want to discuss your supplementary training. He looked surprised. Am I in trouble? No, but I am concerned you are going to injure yourself with your current approach. So I am assigning you a personalized training protocol. You will follow it exactly. No deviations. Understood? Yes, instructor. Good. Report to my office at 2000 hours. We will discuss proper periodization, recovery protocols, and nutritional requirements. Thank you, instructor. He actually looked happy. This absurd human looked genuinely happy that I was going to work him even harder. I still did not understand humans, but I was learning. Over the next several weeks, I programmed Marcus's training scientifically. I monitored his recovery metrics. I adjusted his nutrition. I taught him proper form on exercises I had never even considered teaching before, and he thrived. Absolutely thrived. By the end of month 3, Marcus Cole was the most physically capable recruit in the entire academy. Not just in his class, in the entire academy. He could outlift Krellians, outrun Thulians for long distances, outfight almost anyone in hand-to-hand combat. The other instructors noticed. The academy commandant noticed. And when month 4 arrived, I received an interesting communication. Instructor Dulcor, Commandant Threxus said over the comm. I want a full report on your human recruit. His performance metrics are, frankly, impossible. They are very possible, Commandant. I have verified them personally multiple times. How is he achieving this? I thought about how to explain, how to put into words what I had learned about humans. He works, Commandant, all the time, without ceasing. He has redefined my understanding of work capacity. Explain. So I did. I told the Commandant everything. The extra workouts, the refusal to rest, the constant, relentless improvement, the absolute inability to accept limits. There was silence on the comm for a long moment. And his mental state? The Commandant finally asked. Surprisingly healthy. He seems, well, happy. Happy while destroying his body? He would argue he is building his body. And based on results, I am inclined to agree. Another pause. Very well. Continue monitoring him. I want weekly reports. If his performance continues at this trajectory, we may need to reconsider our entire approach to human recruits. Understood, Commandant. That conversation happened on day 92. I remember because that was the day everything changed. Again? During evening training, I was supervising combat drills. Marcus was sparring with Gorthak, the largest Krellian in our class. Gorthak had 4 arms, each capable of crushing steel. He outweighed Marcus by at least 60 kilograms. They circled each other on the mat. You cannot win, human, Gorthak rumbled. You are too small. Marcus grinned. I have heard that before. They engaged. Gorthak struck with 2 arms. Marcus slipped the punches, moving like water. Gorthak grabbed with his other 2 arms. Marcus twisted, broke the grip, struck Gorthak's knee. The Krellian stumbled. Marcus swept his leg. Gorthak crashed down. The entire class went silent. Point to Marcus, I announced. Gorthak stood up slowly, stared at the human. How? Technique beats strength, Marcus said. Also cardio. You got tired. I did not. Rematch, Gorthak demanded. Sure. They went again. Same result. Marcus won. Then they went a 3rd time. Marcus won again. After that, something shifted. The other recruits stopped seeing Marcus as the weird human who exercised too much. They started seeing him as, well, dangerous. And word spread. Fast. By week 16, recruits from other classes were asking to train with him. By week 20, instructors from other departments were requesting observations. By week 24, Marcus Cole had become a minor legend at the academy. And still, every night he returned to the training hall. Still did extra work. Still pushed beyond every reasonable limit. Marcus, I asked him one evening, "When will it be enough?" He looked at me, confused. "Enough?" "Yes. When will you have trained enough? Achieved enough? When will you stop?" He thought about it. Really thought about it. Then he said something that chilled my blood. "Probably never, instructor. There is always something to improve. Always another level to reach. Why would I stop? Because there are limits." "Are there, though?" He smiled. "Every species in this academy has natural limits. Krellians hit a strength ceiling. Thulians hit a speed ceiling. Gorlaxians hit a density ceiling. But humans? Our ceiling keeps moving. The more we push, the higher it goes. So why stop pushing?" That sounds exhausting. It is. But it is also exhilarating. Every day I wake up knowing I can be better than yesterday. That is not exhausting, instructor. That is purpose. I did not have a response to that. What could I say? He was right. The data proved it. Humans were different. And Marcus Cole was proving exactly how different they could be. Month 6 arrived. Final evaluations. Every recruit would be tested on everything we had taught them. Combat, endurance, strength, intelligence, tactics, the works. The night before finals, I found Marcus in the training hall. "Of course I did. Should you not be resting?" I asked. "I will rest after the test, instructor." "You are aware you are already ranked first in class, yes?" "By a significant margin?" "I know." "Then why are you here?" He finished his set of pull-ups, dropped down, looked at me with those calm eyes. "Because tomorrow I want to be better than I am today. And the day after that, better than I was tomorrow. That is all. Just continuous improvement. Forever." I realized then that I had trained something terrifying. Not a soldier, not a warrior. Something else. I had trained a human who understood his own potential. And that, I was learning, was the most dangerous thing in the universe. A human who knew he could improve and refused to stop trying. Final evaluation day arrived like an execution notice. Cold, inevitable, absolutely terrifying for most recruits. I had designed this particular evaluation myself. 6 months of torture distilled into 8 hours of pure suffering. Combat scenarios. Endurance tests, problem solving under pressure. Team coordination exercises, individual challenges. Everything we had drilled into these recruits, compressed into one brutal assessment. Most classes lost 15 to 20% of their recruits on evaluation day. They simply could not handle the stress and the physical demands. The mental pressure. They would break, quit, or fail out. I expected Marcus to excel. Obviously, he had been dominating every metric for months. But I also expected him to finally, mercifully, show some sign of human limitation. I was about to be educated. Again, the evaluation began at dawn. 0600 hours, Standard Galactic Time. All recruits assembled in the main courtyard. 40 had started. 37 remained. The Pixarian had dropped out in week 3. 2 Krellians had been injured in week 9 and medically discharged. "Attention!" I roared. The courtyard fell silent. "Today you prove whether you belong in the Galactic Defense Fleet. You have 8 hours, 8 stations. Each station tests different capabilities. Failed 2 stations, you fail the evaluation. If you fail the evaluation, you return home." Questions? Silence. "Good. Station 1. Combat simulation. You will face holographic opponents in escalating difficulty. Survive 15 minutes. Begin." The recruits scattered to their assigned starting stations. I had deliberately mixed up the order so everyone faced different challenges at different times. It kept them from developing patterns, kept them stressed. Marcus drew Station 4 first. Long-distance run, 50 kilometers. Full combat gear. Weapon. Pack. 30-kilogram total load. Time limit, 4 hours. Most species could manage it. Barely. The Thulians would finish in 90 minutes. The Krellians in about 3 hours. The Gorlaxians might not finish at all due to their bulk. Marcus started at a steady jog. Not sprinting, not pushing hard, just a comfortable, sustainable pace. I watched him on the monitors from the command center. He is pacing himself, Tilmara observed. Smart. Gone. He always paces himself, I muttered. Then he finishes and does extra. Surely not today. Not during evaluations. Want to make a wager? She chittered nervously. No, I do not. Marcus completed the 50 kilometers in 2 hours and 42 minutes. Well ahead of schedule. He crossed the finish line, checked his vitals on the monitor, refilled his water supply, and proceeded to Station 5. Station 5 was my personal favorite. Oh, the gauntlet. An obstacle course from hell. Walls to climb. Ropes to swing across. Mud pits to crawl through. Barriers to vault. And at the end, a combat scenario where exhausted recruits had to engage 3 holographic enemies with non-lethal training weapons. The record time was 12 minutes, set by a Thulian 3 cycles ago. Marcus approached the starting line. The automated system scanned his ID chip. Beeped. Green light. He exploded forward. Hit the first wall at a full sprint. Jumped. Caught the top edge. Pulled himself over in one smooth motion. Landed. Rolled. Kept moving. The rope swing. He grabbed it. Swung wide, released at the apex. Flew through the air. Caught the next platform. Did not even pause. Just transitioned into a forward roll and sprinted to the next obstacle. Watching him move was like watching physics break. Humans were not supposed to be this fast, this agile, this controlled. The mud pit. Most recruits low-crawled through it, getting covered in synthetic muck. Marcus dove in, swam through it like water, emerged on the other side in seconds. The vertical rope climb. He went up it like gravity was a suggestion, not a law. The balance beam. He ran across it. Actually ran, while other species carefully walked. Then the final combat scenario. 3 holographic opponents, armed with stun batons. They materialized around him in a triangle formation. Marcus did not hesitate. He charged the one directly ahead. The hologram swung its baton. Marcus ducked under it, swept the hologram's legs, rolled, came up behind the second hologram, disarmed it with a wrist lock I had taught him in month 4, then used the captured baton to strike the third hologram twice in rapid succession. All 3 holograms deactivated. Total elapsed time, 47 seconds. The system beeped. Displayed his time. 8 minutes, 19 seconds. New Academy record. By 4 minutes. Impossible, Tilmara whispered. That is what I said 6 months ago, I replied. I was wrong then, too. Marcus did not celebrate. Did not even smile. He just retrieved his gear and moved to Station 6. I pulled up the running scoreboard. Every recruit had a cumulative score based on their performance at each station. Maximum possible score, 800 points, 100 per station. Marcus currently had 594 points from 6 stations. Average score, 99.0. The closest competitor, a Krellian named Vortax, had 412 points. Average score, 68.6. He is going to achieve perfect marks, Tilmara said. No one achieves perfect marks on final evaluation. The tests are designed to be too difficult. He might. He will not. Well, Station 7 would prove me right. Or so I thought. Station 7 was mental endurance, tactical problem solving. Recruits entered an isolation chamber. Total sensory deprivation. Then they were presented with a series of tactical scenarios via neural interface. They had to solve increasingly complex problems while experiencing disorientation, stress, and simulated combat fatigue. Most recruits scored between 60 and 70%. Solving 6 or 7 out of 10 scenarios correctly was considered excellent. The system was designed by Commandant Threxus himself. He had a tactical mind that bordered on precognitive. His scenarios were famous throughout the fleet for being nearly unsolvable. Marcus entered the chamber. The door sealed. I watched his vitals on my screen. Heart rate, 68 beats per minute. Respiratory rate, 14 breaths per minute. Stress hormones, baseline. He was calm. Perfectly, unnaturally calm. But the scenarios began. I could not see what he was experiencing, but I could see his response times, his decision inputs, his tactical choices. Scenario 1, urban combat, hostage situation. He solved it in 4 minutes. Optimal solution. Scenario 2, space station breach, limited oxygen. He solved it in 6 minutes. Suboptimal solution, but acceptable. Scenario 3, multi-front ground assault, overwhelming enemy forces. He solved it in 9 minutes. Optimal solution. He is doing well, Tilmara noted. Wait for scenarios 8 through 10. Those are the impossible ones. Scenario 8 appeared on my screen. I had seen it destroy the confidence of senior officers. It involved a no-win situation. Defending a colony against an invasion force with insufficient resources, no reinforcements, and civilians to protect. There was no right answer. The scenario was designed to test how recruits handled inevitable failure. Marcus took 17 minutes. Then he submitted his solution. I pulled it up, read it again. Blinked all 3 of my eyes. He had found a loophole. A tiny, almost invisible tactical option that created a possibility where none should exist. He proposed using the colony's mining equipment as improvised weapons, the irrigation system as a defensive barrier, and the civilian population as a distributed intelligence network. It was brilliant, and it worked. The simulation accepted it. That is not possible, I said. Apparently it is, Tilmara replied. Scenarios 9 and 10 followed. Both impossible scenarios. Both designed to break recruit morale. Marcus solved 9, found another loophole in 10. When he emerged from the isolation chamber 47 minutes later, the system displayed his score. Station 7, 98 points. He lost 2 points for taking too long on Scenario 2. I hate him, I muttered. You do not, Tilmara said. You'd know. But I want to. Station 8 was the final challenge. Team coordination. All remaining recruits would participate simultaneously. They had to work together to complete a complex mission scenario. Rescue simulated hostages from a fortified position. Limited time. Limited resources. Full communication allowed. This station tested leadership, cooperation, adaptability, and whether recruits could function as part of a unit rather than individuals. I watched from the command center as 37 recruits assembled in the briefing area. They had 30 minutes to plan, then 90 minutes to execute. Immediately, arguments broke out. Corellians wanted to use brute force. Thulians wanted speed and stealth. Gorlaxians wanted to tank through the front entrance. Everyone had opinions. No one had consensus. Marcus stood quietly in the back, listening, not speaking. Just listening. 15 minutes of arguing. No progress. Recruits getting frustrated. Time ticking away. Then Marcus cleared his throat. Not loudly. Just enough to get attention. May I suggest something? He asked. The room quieted. Everyone turned to look at the human who had been shattering records all day. Speak human, Vortax rumbled. We are approaching this wrong. We are trying to make one plan that plays to everyone's strengths. But that will not work. We have too many different capabilities. Instead, we should divide into specialized teams. Corellians form the assault team. Heavy hitters. Front line. Thulians form the infiltration team. Fast movers get in, locate hostages. Gorlaxians form the extraction team, tough enough to protect hostages during withdrawal. Everyone else provides support, covering fire, communications. Silence. Then Praxis, the Thulian, spoke. That could work. Simple. Efficient. Uses our natural abilities. Agreed, Vortax said. Who leads each team? You lead assault, Marcus said, pointing to Vortax. You are strongest, most experienced in direct combat. Praxis leads infiltration. Fastest thinker. Rendak leads extraction. He pointed to the largest Gorlaxian, most durable. What about you, human? Someone asked. What is your role? Marcus smiled. I will do whatever needs doing. We fill gaps. Adapt. That is what humans do. The plan came together in the remaining 15 minutes. Clean. Professional. Everyone had a role. Everyone understood the mission. Then execution began. And it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The kind of coordinated operation that experienced military units perform, not academy recruits. The Krellians hit the main entrance hard, drew all the holographic enemy fire. The Thulians blurred through a side entrance, located the hostages in 90 seconds. The Gorlaxians moved into position at the extraction point. But then something went wrong. Always did in these scenarios. The simulation introduced a complication. Enemy reinforcements. Cutting off the extraction route. The plan started falling apart. Teams lost communication. The Gorlaxians got pinned down. Thulians could not reach the extraction point. And Marcus? He did something I had never seen before. He ran directly into the enemy formation, alone, drew their fire, started engaging multiple holographic opponents simultaneously, and not trying to win, just trying to create chaos, disruption. Give his team time to reorganize. He took 17 simulated hits, any one of which would have incapacitated a normal recruit. But he kept moving, kept fighting, kept creating opportunities to get the hostages out. He shouted over the comm, I will hold them. You will be eliminated. Vortax shouted back, it does not matter. Mission first. Move. The teams adapted, used the distraction, reorganized, found a new extraction route, got the hostages clear. Marcus went down under a barrage of simulated fire. His vitals monitor showed him as critically injured, eliminated from the scenario. But the mission succeeded. All hostages extracted, acceptable casualties. Time remaining, 4 minutes. The simulation ended. The arena lights came up. Recruits emerged, exhausted but successful. Marcus stood up from where he had fallen. His jumpsuit was covered in markers from the simulated weapons impacts. He was smiling. Good job, everyone, he said. That was solid teamwork. Vortax walked over to him, stared down at the human, then extended one massive hand. You sacrificed yourself for the mission, the Krellian said. That was honorable. Marcus shook the offered hand. That was logical. One casualty versus multiple hostage deaths. Easy math. Easy math. Still, you have my respect, human. Thank you. You have mine as well. I watched this exchange from the command center. Felt something strange happening in my central nervous system. An emotion I rarely experienced. Pride. Pride. I was proud of this ridiculous, overachieving, absolutely insane human. The final scores posted automatically, displayed on every screen in the academy. Marcus Cole, 794 points. Average score, 99.25. Second place, Vortax, 689 points. Average score, 86.1. Third place, Praxis, 640 points. Average score, 80.0. Marcus had not achieved perfect marks, but he had come closer than anyone in academy history. And he had done something more important than scoring points. He had earned the respect of every recruit in his class, every species, every background. They saw him not as the weird human who exercised too much, but as a warrior, a teammate, a leader. The graduation ceremony took place 3 days later. Commandant Threxus himself presided. All 37 remaining recruits stood in formation, wearing their dress uniforms. Friends and family attended via holographic link. It was formal, traditional, boring, honestly, until the commandant reached Marcus's name. "Recruit Marcus Cole," Threxus announced. "Step forward." Marcus marched to the center of the platform, stood at attention. "Recruit Cole," the commandant continued. "In my 40 cycles as commandant of this academy, I have never witnessed a performance like yours. You have set new records in multiple disciplines. You have demonstrated exceptional dedication. But more importantly, you have shown us something we did not know we needed to see." Threxus paused, looked at the assembled crowd. "You have shown us what humans are truly capable of. Not strength, not speed, not any single physical attribute, but persistence, adaptability, an absolute refusal to accept limitations. You were told to rest. You trained more. You were given challenges designed to break you. You broke the challenges instead. You have forced this academy to reconsider everything we thought we knew about your species." The commandant produced a small case. Opened it. "It is therefore my honor to award you the Commandant's Excellence Medal, given only to recruits who demonstrate extraordinary performance. There have been 6 recipients in the past 100 cycles. You are the 7th, and the first human." He pinned the medal to Marcus's uniform. The audience applauded. Marcus saluted. "Thank you, Commandant. I am honored. One question, Recruit Cole, if I may?" "Of course, sir." "When will you stop pushing yourself so hard?" Marcus smiled. That same calm smile I had seen 100 times before. "Respectfully, sir? Probably never. There is always room for improvement, always another goal to reach. That is the human condition. We look at limits and we ask why. And then we find ways around them, through them, or over them. It is just what we do." Threxus nodded slowly. "I suspected as much." "Very well. Welcome to the Galactic Defense Fleet, Officer Cole." The ceremony continued. All recruits received their commissions. All were assigned to various fleet positions. It should have been the end of the story. But it was not. Because 2 weeks later I received another communication from the Commandant. "Instructor Dulcor. Report to my office immediately." I went. Found Threxus staring at multiple data screens, all showing various metrics and reports. "You wanted to see me, Commandant? Close the door." I did. He gestured to a chair. I sat. "I have a problem," he said. "A significant problem." "Sir?" "Officer Cole has been assigned to Fleet Training Station Gamma. He reported 3 days ago. Since then, he has already broken 2 station records, volunteered for extra duty shifts, and apparently convinced 15 other junior officers to join him in what he calls a morning workout group." I blinked. "That sounds like Officer Cole being Officer Cole, sir." "It gets worse. The station commander contacted me this morning. Wants to know what we did to create such an aggressively motivated officer. Says Cole is making everyone else look bad by comparison. Wants permission to either promote him or transfer him before the other officers develop self-esteem. Issues. Issues. Despite myself, I laughed. "Sir, with respect, Officer Cole is not the problem. The problem is that we have not properly prepared the fleet for what humans are capable of." Explain. Explain. Humans do not have one exceptional trait. They have dozens. But the most important is persistence. They do not give up. Ever. They see obstacles as challenges to overcome, not barriers to accept. Tell them something is impossible. They hear, try harder. Tell them to rest. They hear, optimize recovery and return stronger. Every single human is like this to some degree. Officer Cole is simply an extreme example. Frexis leaned back in his chair. How many human recruits are currently in the application pipeline? I checked my datapad. Approximately 473 across all academy branches. 473. Yes, sir. So you are telling me we are about to receive nearly 500 recruits who will all behave like Officer Cole? To varying degrees, yes, sir. Some will be more intense, some less. But the fundamental human drive to improve, to push limits, to refuse defeat, that is universal to the species. The commandant was silent for a long moment. Then he started laughing. Deep, rumbling laughter that shook his entire frame. What is funny, sir? We spent decades worried that humans were too weak to join the Galactic Defense Fleet. Too fragile, too soft. And now we are learning that the real problem is they are too strong. Not physically, mentally. They will never accept good enough. They will push themselves and everyone around them to be better. Constantly, relentlessly, forever. Yes, sir. That is accurate. The other species are going to hate them. Initially, yes. Then they will start adopting human training methods, human mindsets, human persistence. Within a generation, I predict the entire fleet culture will shift. Frexis nodded slowly. You are probably right. Humans are a contagion. A positive contagion, but a contagion nonetheless. They spread their impossible standards everywhere they go. Sir, permission to speak freely? Granted. Is that such a bad thing? We have been stagnant for centuries, but comfortable, complacent. Maybe we needed someone to come along and remind us that limits are mostly self-imposed, but that we can always do better, always push further. Maybe we needed humans. The commandant smiled. Maybe we did. Very well, Instructor Dulcor. You have done well with Officer Cole. Therefore, you are now officially responsible for the Human Recruit Training Program. To develop protocols, training methods, recovery schedules, whatever it takes to properly prepare humans for fleet service while not killing them in the process. Sir, I am not qualified. You are the most qualified person we have. You spent 6 months learning how humans function. Use that knowledge. Build something new. Oh, and one more thing. Sir? Find out what a protein bar is and why Officer Cole thinks they are acceptable meal replacements. The station commander is concerned he is malnourished, but his medical scans show he is in perfect health. I am confused. I will investigate, sir. I left the office, returned to my quarters, sat down at my desk, stared at the wall. Build a human training program. Me. The instructor who thought Marcus Cole was going to fail out in week 1. Life is funny sometimes. Cruel, ironic, but funny. I pulled up Marcus's complete training file. 6 months of data. Every workout, every meal, every recovery metric, every psychological assessment. And I started reading. Really reading. Looking for patterns, for insights, for the secret formula that made humans simultaneously the most frustrating and most impressive species I had ever encountered. 3 hours later, I had my answer. It was not complicated, not hidden. It was right there in the data, obvious and undeniable. Humans succeeded because they refused to fail. That was it. The whole secret. They got knocked down, they stood up. They got told no, they found another way. They hit their limits, they pushed through them. They were told to rest. They rested exactly enough and no more. And somewhere in that simple, stupid, beautiful persistence was a lesson for all of us. Maybe limits were not real. Maybe they were just suggestions. Maybe the only true barrier was the one we accepted in our own minds. Marcus Cole had taught me that. Not through words, through actions. through 6 months of relentless, exhausting, inspiring determination. I opened a new document, began typing. Protocol for Human Recruit Training. Draft 1. Step 1. Accept that normal rules do not apply. Step 2. Provide structure, not restriction. Step 3. Monitor carefully, but do not limit unnecessarily. Step 4. Understand that humans will do extra work. Always. Plan for it. Step 5. Remember that human limits are temporary. They will find new ones. I smiled as I typed. This was going to be interesting. 473 more humans coming through the academy, each one as stubborn, persistent, and impossible as Marcus Cole. The galaxy was not ready. The fleet was not ready. I was not ready. But we would adapt. Just like humans taught us. We would face the challenge. We would overcome. We would improve. Because that was the lesson. That was what Marcus Cole and every human who followed would teach the rest of us. Limits are temporary. Improvement is eternal. And the only true failure is refusing to try. 6 months ago, I thought humans were weak. Now I know better. They are not weak. They are terrifying, in the best possible way. And I cannot wait to see what they do next. Somewhere on Fleet Training Station Gamma, Marcus Cole was probably doing push-ups. Extra push-ups. Because he was told to rest but decided he had rested enough. And somewhere in the universe, the Galactic Defense Fleet was about to discover what happens when you give persistent, stubborn, relentlessly improving humans access to advanced technology, proper training, and positions of responsibility. Good luck to us all. We are going to need it. But honestly, I think we are going to be better for it. Humans have a way of making everything around them improve, whether we want to or not. Marcus taught me that, and I will never forget it. The instructor told him to rest. He did 100 more push-ups. Of course he did. He is human. What else would he do?